So let's take a look at the first question for grade 4, term 2. Can you extend the geometric patterns 2 more times and describe the pattern in words? In order to do this, I need to figure out how many shapes I'm adding to each picture or term. So if I look at my first term, I have 1 circle and 2 squares. My second term, I have 2 circles and 4 squares. My third term, I have 3 circles and 6 squares. How many circles am I adding between each picture or term? Yes, I add 1 circle. How many squares do I add between each term? I add 2 squares. Therefore, with every term or picture, I have to add a circle and 2 squares. So, how does term 4 and 5 look? Let's take a look. You should have drawn your fourth picture or fourth term using 4 circles and 8 squares, and your fifth term with 5 circles and 10 squares. I'm pretty sure you got this one right, grade 4s. Well done. So how could I describe this pattern using words? So I could say that each term or picture gets an additional circle and 2 additional squares. So let's move on to the B part of question 1. So once again, I have a geometric pattern and I'm asked to extend it 2 more times and also to describe the pattern in words. So for my next geometric pattern, I have 3 terms. What shapes are used to create each term? Triangles. How many triangles are there in term 1? There are 3 triangles. What about term 2? 5. For term 3, 7 triangles. Therefore, what am I doing between each term or picture? I'm adding 2 triangles. Therefore, how would term 4 and 5 look? If you drew term 4 using 9 triangles, well done. What about term 5? How many triangles should you have added? 2. Therefore, term 5 should have 11 triangles. Well, how could I describe this pattern in words? Well, I could simply say that each picture or term gets an additional 2 triangles. Alright, let's look at your second question. Study the number line and explain why 320 is in the wrong place. Well, if we look at our number line, we see that I have the numbers 300 and 400, as well as the number 320. But what do you notice about the 320? Should it be as close to the 400 as it is? Well, let's take a look. The middle point of 300 and 400 should be 350. So let's add that to our number line. And I'm going to estimate that the middle point is around here. So that should be 350. So why is 320 in the wrong place? Yes, it should actually be closer to 300. It should be on the other side of 350. Therefore, it should be around here. Next, we move on to question 3. Complete the flow diagrams. For my first flow diagram, I'm given my input. And my first flow diagram has 2 rules. Multiply by 10 and then divide by 2. So let's do this together. 4 times 10 is 40. Divided by 2 is 20. 7 times 10 is 70. Divided by 2 is 35. 9 times 10 is 90. 90 divided by 2 is 45. 12 times 10 is 120. Divided by 2 is 60. What about the second flow diagram? For this one, I just have one rule. Multiply by 5. Let's do this together as well. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 5 is 35. 9 times 5 is 45. And 12 times 5 is 60. So what do you notice about the two flow diagrams? Did you notice that your output, your final answers, are exactly the same? This is because multiplying by 10 and dividing by 2 is exactly the same as saying multiply by 5, because 10 divided by 2 is 5. I'm pretty sure you came to the same conclusion, grade 4s. This brings us to our fourth question. Rio has 24 marbles more than Bingo, and Tundi has 24 less than Bingo. If Bingo has 71 marbles, how many do they have all together? So let's look at the information that I have. I know that Bingo has 71 marbles. I also know that Rio has 24 more than 71. But Tundi has 24 less than 71. Because this is a word problem, I need to have a number sentence. So let's start off by adding this information. 24 marbles more. So that would be 24. 24 less minus 24. Close brackets. The next part of my sum would be 71 times 3. Why 3? Because there are 3 children. And I also know that I have to figure out how many marbles they have all together. So as soon as I see this word, I know that I have to add. I need to keep my number sentence open so that I could add my answer afterwards. So I know that 24 minus 24 is 0. But what about 71 times 3? Well, let's use our column method to answer the question. 3 times 1 equals 3, and 7 times 3 equals 21. Therefore, 0 plus 213 would give me 213. Therefore, together, they have 213 marbles. Now we've arrived at our final question. A secret code has the word bacon coded as CBDPO. What would the code for eggs be? Well, sometimes the answer is right in front of our eyes. Well, let's look at the first letter of the word bacon and the first letter of my code, C. What do you notice about those letters? What about the A of bacon and the B of the secret code? Did you notice that the secret code is just the following letter in the alphabet? For example, the letter that comes after B is C, after A is B. What comes after the letter C in the alphabet? It's D. Therefore, what would the code for eggs be? Well, what letter comes after E in the alphabet? That's right, it's F. Now what about the G? After G is H, and then I've got another H. And what about S? What comes after the letter S in the alphabet? That's right, it's T. Therefore, my secret code for eggs would be FHHT. Well done, grade 4s. And this brings us to the end of Mathematics Smarts for Term 2.